Good evening. Tonight I want to bring you face to face with the most liberating truth you will ever hear. Your imagination is the only reality. What you experience outwardly is nothing more than the shadow cast by the state you occupy inwardly. You have been taught to strive, to struggle, to beg, and to wait. But I tell you, creation is finished. All that you desire already exists as an invisible reality. The only question is, will you assume it is done? If you will dare to assume and persist in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you will watch as the outer world bends to your inner conviction, not by force, not by effort, but by the natural flow of life itself. Let us walk together through the mystery. 12 steps into the heart of effortless manifestation. 1. The power of assumption, the origin of all change. Good evening, my friends. Tonight, I want to take you back to the root of all transformation, the place where every change in your life must begin. Before there is any movement in your outer world, there must first be a movement in your inner world, and that movement is called assumption. We have been trained to believe that life acts upon us from the outside, that the world imposes its will upon us, and we must struggle to shape it. But I tell you the truth, the world does not push itself upon you, it reflects you. Every condition you now experience, every face you encounter, every event that meets you on the road of life, all of it bears witness to the state you occupy within yourself. The outer world is not an independent power. It is a mirror. It cannot originate anything. It can only echo the assumptions you persist in holding about yourself and about life. So if you would change your world, stop wrestling with the mirror. Do not attempt to polish the reflection while leaving the face unchanged. Go to the source. Go to your own consciousness. When I speak of assumption, I do not mean idle daydreaming. I do not mean wishing or hoping or pleading. I mean a deliberate inward act to accept as true, right now, the reality of the state you desire to experience. If you desire abundance, you must assume the feeling of already being abundant. If you desire love, you must assume the feeling of already being loved. If you desire healing, you must assume the feeling of already being whole. This is the secret. You do not wait to see it before you believe it. You believe it and then you see it. The world calls this madness. The world says, be realistic. Look at the facts. But the facts you see today are only the frozen shadows of yesterday's assumptions. They are not permanent. They are not final. They are clay in the hands of the potter, and you are that potter. Consider this. When you fall asleep at night, your body lies still, yet your mind moves freely. In the dream, you are convinced it is real. You see places, you speak to people, you feel emotion. And while you are dreaming, no one could persuade you it is not real. Then you awaken and discover it was all an image within you. So it is with this world. This too is a dream, though more stable, more solidified. And just as your nighttime dream flows from the state you occupy while sleeping, your waking world flows from the state you occupy while awake. States are like rooms in a great house. You may walk from the room called lack into the room called abundance at any moment. But you must walk there in imagination first. You must enter it with feeling. And the moment you feel yourself to be there, though nothing outside has changed, the seed is planted, and the outer must eventually bear witness to that inner planting. This is why I say, assumption is the origin of all change. Without assumption, no transformation is possible. With assumption, transformation is inevitable. You see, there is no power outside you deciding what you shall experience. There is no distant deity selecting blessings for some and withholding them from others. The creative power of God is in you as your own imagination, and it operates only according to what you dare to assume. Scripture says, according to your faith be it unto you. Faith is not emotion. Faith is not shouting or striving. Faith is assumption, quiet, steady, immovable inner knowing. And the world always, without exception, conforms to the faith you hold about yourself. Now many ask, but what if I feel unworthy? What if I have failed too many times? My friends, worthiness is irrelevant. The law is impersonal. It does not judge, it simply mirrors. The sun does not ask if you deserve its light. It shines regardless. So too your imagination does not ask if you are worthy of the state you desire. It only asks, will you accept it as real? If you say I am, it begins to shape the world to match. If you say I am not, it leaves you where you are. This is why you must guard the words I am with vigilance. For whatever follows those words becomes the cornerstone of your world. Say not I am poor, unless you wish to remain so. Say not I am unlucky, unless you desire more misfortune. Instead, even if your senses scream the opposite, say within yourself, I am wealthy, I am loved, I am free. Say it not as a ritual of repetition, but as an inward acceptance. Feel the truth of it. Let it settle into your bones. And as you persist, the outer will bend. It must. It has no choice. You see, imagination and reality are not two, they are one. The outer world is imagination pushed out, objectified. Long before a building rises from the ground, it stands complete in the architect's mind. Long before a symphony is heard, it resounds in the composer's heart. Likewise, long before your desire appears in form, it must be born in you as an assumption. Do not ask, when will it come? Ask, can I accept that it is already mine? That acceptance is the turning point. The moment you assume, you have shifted states. And when you shift states, the world must shift with you. This is not effort. This is not strain. This is resting in the truth of the unseen. Some will say, but I cannot feel it real. I try, and my senses contradict me. Then I tell you, practice in the silence. Withdraw from the world for a few moments each day. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, enter the stillness, and in that silence, imagine a single scene that implies your desire is fulfilled. Not the process of getting it, only the end result. If you long for freedom from debt, imagine a friend congratulating you on being debt-free. If you long for love, imagine the warmth of your beloved's hand in yours. If you long for success, imagine the feeling of completion, of having achieved your goal. Do not force it. Let it come gently. Hold the scene until it takes on the tone of reality, until it feels natural. And when you open your eyes, carry that feeling with you as though it were fact. Return to it throughout the day. Fall asleep in it at night. And though the outer may resist at first, though appearances may seem unmoved, if you persist in the assumption, the world must yield. So tonight I ask you, what are you assuming about yourself? Are you assuming struggle? Then struggle will be your companion. Are you assuming limitation? Then limitation will be your cage. Are you assuming delay? Then life will delay you endlessly. Or will you dare to assume abundance, love, joy, and freedom, not as hopes but as facts? If you will prove this law for yourself. You will see the mirror change. You will watch the dream rearrange its scenery to reflect the new role you have chosen to play. This is not theory. This is law, and the law is simple. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, and watch as the world bends to your assumption. This is the first step on the path of transformation. This is the cornerstone of every miracle. Change your assumption, and you change your life. True feeling is the secret. Entering the state of the wish fulfilled. My friends, now that we have laid the cornerstone, the truth that assumption is the origin of all change, we must go deeper. For assumption is not made with words alone. It is not made with effort or strain. It is made with feeling. This is the hidden key. This is the doorway through which every miracle must pass. You must feel the reality of your desire as though it were already so. Words are only the garments of feeling. They have no creative power in themselves unless they are charged with emotion. Clothed with inner conviction, you can say, I am wealthy 1,000 times. But if you feel lack as you say it, you are not planting the seed of wealth. You are watering the seed of lack. You can declare, I am loved. Yet if you feel lonely, your declaration is empty air. It is not the words that create. It is the feeling behind the words. The whole secret lies in this, to imagine and feel the end, not to imagine the struggle to get there, not to imagine the path or the means or the steps, simply to imagine the state you desire is already real, and to feel its naturalness. This is what I mean when I say feeling is the secret. For what you feel yourself to be, you become, and what you feel to be true of life, life will become for you. The outer world is only the shadow cast by your inner feeling. Change the feeling and the shadow must change. Think of it this way. When an actor takes the stage, he does not hope to become the character. He feels himself to be the character. He clothes himself inwardly in the personality, the attitude, the tone of that role. And when he does, the words flow naturally. The movements become effortless. The illusion becomes real. So it is with you. You are not trying to force a change upon the world. You are simply changing the part you are playing. And the way to change your part is to change your feeling of being. Say within yourself, I am the one who has already received it, and then sink into that identity as though it were your home. But here is the stumbling block for many. They try to force the feeling. They say, I will grit my teeth and make myself feel happy, though I am not. And I tell you, this is not the way. Feeling cannot be forced. It must be accepted gently as you would accept the warmth of the sun on your skin. It is not created by effort. It is allowed by surrender. Do not try to make it real. Simply let it be real. Close your eyes. Enter the silence. And there, imagine a simple scene that implies your wish is fulfilled. If you seek abundance, imagine yourself looking at your bank balance and feeling relief. If you seek love, imagine the familiar embrace of the one who loves you. If you seek healing, imagine moving freely, easily, joyfully in a whole body. And as you imagine, do not think of it as happening in the future. Think from it as though it were happening now. Let the feeling of already done rise gently in you like the tide. That is the art. The world will tell you, be realistic, wait till you see evidence. But feeling is not concerned with evidence. Feeling creates evidence. This is why it is called faith. Faith is not blind hope. Faith is not wishful thinking. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. It is the inward assurance that what you feel to be real must become real. When you feel the wish fulfilled, even if only for a moment, you have planted the seed. And if you persist in that feeling, it will take root and grow until it must appear in your outer world. Now some will say, but my senses deny it. Everything around me contradicts the feeling. Yes, and they will at first. For the senses always echo the old state until the new state becomes dominant. This is where persistence is born. Do not wrestle with appearances. Do not argue with them. Simply turn away from them inwardly and return to the feeling. Say within yourself, it is done. Feel the quiet satisfaction, the relief, the gratitude you would feel if it were already accomplished. This feeling is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. It is the only bridge you need. Let me give you an image. Imagine the world as a film already shot. The scenes are fixed, the characters set. You are the projector. The film cannot play without you. Now if you change the slide in the projector, the image on the screen must change. Your inner feeling is that slide. Change it, and though the screen may flicker for a moment with remnants of the old frame, soon the new scene will appear with clarity. This is how all transformation occurs, silently, inwardly, by feeling the new scene into being. But beware of this subtle trap. Many people feel the lack of their desire while trying to imagine its fulfillment. They imagine wealth while feeling poor. They imagine love while feeling alone. They imagine health while feeling sick. And so they perpetuate the very state they are trying to escape. The law does not give you what you want. The law gives you what you feel yourself to be. This is the key. You must move from desire to possession. Not I want it, but I have it. Not someday, but now. It is the feeling of possession that creates possession. So tonight, take this practice with you. Choose one desire, only one for now, and enter the silence. Ask yourself, what would I feel if this were already true? Then surrender to that feeling. Wear it like a cloak. Walk in it through the day. Fall asleep in it at night. Do not look for signs. Do not strain for results. Simply rest in the feeling. And as you persist, the world will rearrange itself to reflect the new state you have accepted. Remember, my friends, feeling is the only doorway between the invisible and the visible. You need not know how it will happen. You need not push or strive or scheme. Simply feel it done. For the moment you feel the wish fulfilled, you have entered the state from which its fulfillment must flow. And when you dwell in that state long enough, the whole world will rise to meet you there. This is the great secret of creation. This is the living key in your own hand. Feeling is the secret, and it is the only secret.
3. Living from the end. The art of assuming the fulfilled state. My friends, having seen that assumption is the root and feeling is the secret, we must now approach the living heart of this work, the art of living from the end. This is not merely imagining your desire fulfilled for a few fleeting moments. It is not daydreaming about it as though it were distant or uncertain. It is to step into it as if it were already your present reality, and to dwell there until the world bows to your new identity. For every state exists now, every possibility is present, eternal, complete. You do not create these states, you select them. And having selected, you must occupy. You must live from it, not toward it. Consider this. When a man moves to a new house, he does not continually say, one day I will live there. He simply moves in, unpacks, and calls it home. So it is with consciousness. The moment you move into a state inwardly, it becomes your dwelling place. And the outer world, like obedient servants, must rearrange itself to accommodate your new residence. This is the essence of faith, not hoping that something might come, but resting in the knowing that it already is. Now to live from the end requires a quiet audacity. It means you must disregard appearances. It means you must stop looking to the world to tell you who you are, and start letting your inner world define your outer. Do not wait for evidence. Evidence is the shadow of your assumption, not the cause of it. The cause is always within you, and when you dwell in the end, the cause becomes fixed and the shadow must conform. Let us make this practical. Suppose you desire financial abundance. Living toward it sounds like this. I will save more. I will try to find opportunities. One day perhaps I will be prosperous. But living from it sounds like this. I am the prosperous one now. I handle money with ease. I walk as one who has already succeeded. You see the difference? In the first, the desire is ahead of you, a future possibility. In the second, it is behind you, accomplished, finished. And when you feel something is finished, the mind grows quiet, the striving ceases, and the creative power within you begins to operate without resistance. The same is true of love. To live toward love is to long, to yearn, to chase. To live from love is to move through the world as one already loved. Your words change, your energy changes, your expectations change. And as you walk in that state, the world must echo it back to you, for the outer is nothing but your inner pushed out. But hear me well, living from the end does not mean pretending or playing a role. It is not forcing positive thoughts. It is inner conviction. It is choosing to accept, without outer proof, that you are already the one you desire to be. When you accept that identity within, everything you do springs naturally from it. It does not feel like effort. It feels like breathing. This is why so many fail. They try to act as if, while secretly believing they are not. But true living from the end is not acting. It is being. The Master said, when you pray, believe that you have received it, and you shall have it. Notice, he did not say believe you will receive it. He said believe that you have received. This is the end. It is done. It is finished. You have received. And when you assume the feeling of the fulfilled desire and walk in it, the unseen forces of this world move to make it visible. Let me give you a method, simple yet mighty. Each night, as you drift into sleep, choose a scene that implies your wish is already fulfilled. Do not see yourself getting it. See yourself having it. If you desire success, imagine receiving congratulations from a dear friend. If you desire healing, imagine someone remarking how radiant you look. If you desire freedom, imagine yourself speaking from a place of victory. Make it short, simple, and vivid. and then feel it real. Feel the relief, the gratitude, the joy of the wish fulfilled. Repeat it gently until you fall asleep in the feeling. In that drowsy state between waking and sleep, your subconscious is most impressionable. What you impress upon it there must externalize. This is the nightly art of living from the end. Now when you awaken, carry that state with you. Do not look at the world to see if it has changed. Look only within to see if you are still dwelling in your chosen state. This is the only discipline required. Remain faithful to the end, even when the senses contradict. For the senses are always a lagging echo. They will protest at first. They will whisper, it is not here. It is not real. Ignore them. They are only the ghosts of your old state fading away. Stand firm in your new identity. Say within, I am that now, and walk as though the whole world already knew it. This is the posture of faith. It does not beg. It does not plead. It does not wait. It assumes. It accepts. It rests. Faith is the bold willingness to call the unseen seen, to call the invisible visible, and to remain unmoved until the world conforms. If you would transform your life, choose the end you desire and make it your dwelling place. Do not visit it as a guest. Move in, hang your soul's garments in its closet, cook your meals there, fall asleep there. Let it become the only home you know. And when you do, something wondrous happens. The world begins to mirror the state you now embody. People, events, circumstances, all rearrange themselves to support the reality you have chosen within, for the outer world has no choice. It must reflect what you are conscious of being. So tonight, take this as your charge. Live from the end, not for an hour, not for a day, but as a way of being. Abandon the old self, step into the new, clothe yourself in the feeling of your fulfilled desire, and refuse to leave it. The moment you do, the law is set in motion, and nothing in heaven or earth can stop its fulfillment. For what you are within, you will be without. And what you dare to assume as true, you must experience as fact. This is the great art. This is living from the end.
4. The law of reversal. Living from the end. My friends, if you would learn the secret of effortless manifestation, you must train yourself in the divine art of reversal. To the outer world, it seems strange, illogical even, that one should begin with the end and live from it as though it were already true. Yet this is the law by which the invisible becomes visible. The unseen steps forth as seen. You are not here to struggle toward your desire. You are here to assume its reality and rest in that assumption until it hardens into fact. This is the law of reversal. To move not from what is seen to what is hoped for, but from what is hoped for as though it were already seen. All creation is finished. This is not a poetic statement. It is a spiritual fact. The end you long for exists now as a living reality in the eternal present. You are not creating it. You are selecting it. Just as a radio does not create the song but merely tunes into it, so your imagination does not create your future. It simply tunes into the state in which your desire is already accomplished. And when you dwell in that state, when you feel from it, the outer world must mirror it back to you. The world teaches you to begin with effort. It says plan, strive, labor, sacrifice, and eventually you might achieve. But the law of the Spirit says reverse the order. Assume the wish fulfilled now, and allow the outer world to rearrange itself around your assumption. Your work is not to push the pieces into place, but to dwell so faithfully in the end that the pieces move of themselves. This is why it is called effortless manifestation, not because nothing happens, but because all that happens is compelled by your inner conviction, not by your outer strain. Let us take a simple example. Suppose you desire to be free from debt. The ordinary mind says, I must find more work, save more money, discipline my spending, and so it toils in the shadow of lack. But the spiritual mind says, I am already free, I am already supplied, and it feels the relief, the joy, the lightness of being debt-free now. That feeling becomes its dwelling place. It wakes up debt-free in imagination, walks through the day as one who is free, falls asleep debt-free. Soon, without knowing how, the world reorders itself to confirm the inner freedom. Opportunities arise, old debts dissolve, new channels open. Why? Because you reverse the law. You move from the end instead of toward it. Hear this well. You cannot arrive at a destination while still feeling you are far from it. Distance is created by state. If you feel yourself lacking, you remain lacking, no matter how many actions you take. But if you feel yourself fulfilled, you have bridged the distance, and the world must follow. To him who has, more shall be given, but from him who has not, even what he has shall be taken. This is not a harsh decree. It is simply the law of consciousness. Consciousness is the only reality, and it expresses itself according to its own assumption. If you have in feeling, you will have in fact. If you have not in feeling, all striving becomes fruitless. So I say to you, practice this reversal daily. Choose a desire, close your eyes, and carry yourself in imagination to the moment of its fulfillment. Ask yourself, what would it feel like if this were true right now? Then feel it. Let the scene unfold as though it were present fact. Hear the voices congratulating you. See the expressions of joy around you. Touch the evidence of accomplishment. Do not long for it. Be in it. And when the feeling becomes natural, when you can stand there in imagination and say, it is done, then release it. Let it go. That is the seed sown. And like all seeds, it will germinate unseen before it breaks through into sight. Some will say, but isn't that self-deception? Isn't it false to feel what is not yet fact? No, it is truth. For what you feel as real will become real. This is the mystery of faith, calling the unseen seen, the unreal real. Faith is not passive belief, it is active assumption. It dares to stand in the end, though all the senses deny it. It walks by the inner vision, not by the outer evidence. And when the outer evidence changes, the world calls it a miracle, but it is simply the law fulfilling itself. Remember the story of the barren fig tree. It bore no fruit, and the master said, no fruit grow on thee henceforth forever. And the next day the disciples saw it withered from the roots. Understand this. The word spoken from conviction rearranged the unseen roots, and the outer form obeyed. So it is with you. If you persist in seeing yourself as lacking, the roots of your world will wither. But if you persist in seeing yourself fulfilled, the roots of your world will blossom. Everything begins in the unseen. This law of reversal demands courage, for it asks you to turn your back on appearances. It asks you to believe the opposite of what your senses report. The world shouts, it is not yet done, and you must whisper, it is finished. The world shows you absence, and you must feel presence. The world offers delay, and you must rest in immediacy. This is not denial of facts, it is mastery of facts. Facts are the shadows cast by belief. Change the belief and the shadow must shift. You need not fight the shadow, you need only turn to the light. Some of you here tonight are standing at the edge of despair because you have tried to change the shadow by effort. You have pushed, struggled, begged and grown weary. Stop, cease striving, reverse the process, enter the state where the thing is already done. Rest there, feel the peace of completion, and let that peace do the work. Be still and know that I am God. That stillness is not idleness, it is power. It is the silent power that moves mountains because it knows they are already moved. When you assume the end, the means are compelled. People will be moved, circumstances will shift, events will align, and you will call it coincidence. But it is law. Your assumption is the organizing principle of your world. Like iron filings to a magnet, all things rush to align themselves with the pattern you hold within. Hold it firmly, and hold it joyfully, as though it were already yours. That is the posture of the fulfilled soul. That is the secret of effortless creation. And so I say again, reverse the order, begin with the end. Walk as though it were already so. Feel the joy of the answered prayer before it is answered, and it will answer itself. Do not wait for the world to permit you to feel fulfilled. Feel fulfilled, and the world will have no choice but to mirror it. This is the law. This is the key. This is the mystery hidden from the wise and revealed to the childlike, that the end is the beginning, and the beginning is the end. Live from the end, and you will see the end made flesh. That is the art of reversal. That is the way of effortless manifestation. And when you master it, you will discover that nothing is too good to be true, because everything good is already true. The moment you dare to assume it, the moment you dare to say in your heart, it is done.
5. The secret place. Dwelling in the silence of fulfillment. My friends, if you would know the power that shapes worlds, you must learn to enter the secret place of the Most High, your own imagination, and dwell there in silence until the unseen becomes more real to you than the seen. This is the inner chamber spoken of when the Master said, when you pray, enter into your closet, and when you have shut the door, pray to your Father which is in secret, and your Father who sees in secret shall reward you openly. The closet is not a room of wood and stone. It is the sanctuary of your inner consciousness, where you withdraw from the clamor of the senses and abide in the stillness of the fulfilled desire. The world clamors for action, but spirit whispers of stillness. The world demands plans, proofs, and effort, but the kingdom of God comes not with observation. It comes quietly, silently, invisibly, and only those who dare to be still can witness its appearing. This stillness is not the absence of life, it is the womb of life. It is the fertile ground where the seed of your assumption takes root. If you never enter it, your desires remain mere wishes, tossed about by doubt and delay. But if you enter it faithfully and abide in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, the invisible root will grow until it breaks forth as visible fruit. Understand this. Imagination is not daydreaming. It is not idle fancy. It is spiritual seeing. It is the divine faculty by which all things are made. What the world calls real began as imagination. The house you dwell in, the clothes upon your body, the very words I now speak, all were once only ideas. Yet they became solid because someone dared to dwell upon them inwardly until they took form outwardly. And what one has done, all may do. You need not struggle to make it so. You need only see it so, and rest in that seeing until it feels natural. When I say rest, I do not mean passivity. I mean inner absorption. It is a focused, tranquil absorption in the end desired, so complete that you lose awareness of the old state. This is the art of prayer. True prayer is not begging or petitioning. It is communion with the state desired. It is assuming the tone of the answer. It is feeling the reality of what you seek as though it were already yours, and then sinking into that feeling as one sinks into sleep. And just as sleep refreshes the body, this prayer refreshes the soul, because the soul knows it is done. In this secret place, there are no delays. There is no time.
Time belongs to the outer world of shadows. In imagination, all is now. And because imagination is the root of reality, the now you experience inwardly becomes the future you experience outwardly. So when you enter this silence, do not think of your desire as something coming. Think from it as something present. Wear it like a garment. Let it wrap around you. Walk about in it. Speak from it. Think from it. Let every sense be filled with its reality. This is how you impregnate the subconscious. And once impregnated, the subconscious will bring it forth as surely as night follows day. But many of you struggle here because you will not shut the door. You carry the outer world into the secret place. You sit down to imagine and bring with you the noise of fear, the burden of doubt, the arguments of reason. My friends, you must shut the door. Turn away from appearances. Turn away from facts. Turn away from how, when, and through whom. These are the distractions that bar the gate. The secret place admits only faith. It is guarded by silence, and silence yields only to the voice of conviction. Until you silence the chatter of how and when, you cannot hear the whisper of it is done. Practice this. Each night before sleep, close your eyes and lay aside the world. Enter the state of your wish fulfilled. Let everything about you testify that it is now accomplished. If it is health you desire, feel the ease of the healed body. If it is love, feel the warmth of being cherished. If it is abundance, feel the security of overflowing supply. Do not think of having it, feel from having it. And when that feeling becomes natural, surrender to it as you surrender to sleep. This is the true Sabbath, resting from the works of the outer man, because the inner man has finished the work. You may say, but the outer world has not changed. Of course it has not. It is only the shadow. Shadows linger even after the light has shifted. Do not be deceived by the lingering shadow. Hold fast to the new light within, and the shadow must eventually align. The change always happens first in the silence, then in the scene. If you judge by the scene, you will return to doubt. If you judge by the silence, you will persevere in faith, and faith is the bridge from silence to sight. Remember this sacred order. Conceive it in imagination, feel it as real, rest in that feeling, and let it unfold. You do not make the seed grow by digging it up each day. You plant it, cover it, and trust the unseen life to do its perfect work. So with your desire, once you have impressed it upon your inner being, release it. Do not keep asking, when will it come? Where will it come from? That is digging up the seed. Rest, and let the unseen life bring it forth in its perfect season. The Father works in secret. The sprouting is His, not yours. And hear this, the silence is not empty, it is full. It is the fullness of God awaiting your recognition. When you enter it, you are not alone. You are surrounded by the infinite possibilities of creation. Every desire you have ever known lives there in seed form, waiting only for your acceptance. And the moment you say inwardly, it is mine, it begins to grow. The silence is your true dwelling place. The noise is only a passing market. The silence is your eternal home. So I say to you, build your home there. Visit it each morning before the day begins. Return to it each night before sleep. Withdraw into it whenever the world troubles you. Let it become more familiar to you than the outer scene. Soon you will find that the silence goes with you everywhere. That even as you walk among men, you are inwardly resting in God. And when you live from that place, manifestation is no longer effortful. It is inevitable. For the silence is the root of all things, and he who abides in it abides in the source. This is the secret place. This is the inner chamber where all creation begins. It asks nothing of you but faith. It demands nothing but surrender. And it rewards you with everything. For in that stillness you will hear the only words that matter. It is done. And when you hear them, not with your ears but with your spirit, you will rise from the silence carrying the unseen as seen, and the world will bow to the shape you hold within. So enter the silence, my friends. Shut the door. Dwell there in the end, and watch as the unseen becomes the inevitable. 6. Living from the end, the art of assuming the state. My friends, let us go further tonight. You have heard me say again and again, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. But now I must show you what it truly means to live from the end, not merely to think of the end. This is the hinge on which your whole world turns. Until you learn this, your efforts will be scattered and your desires will seem distant. But once you master it, the world bends to your assumption like a reed to the wind. The difference is subtle yet absolute. To think of the end is to see it as something apart from you, something coming, something hoped for, something you strive toward. But to think from the end is to see it as present, to feel it as accomplished, to move through your days as though it were already your reality. One lives in hope, the other lives in faith. One stands as a beggar at the gate, the other walks as a son in the house. You must become that which you desire before it appears, or it will never appear. Do not wait for outer evidence to give you permission to feel fulfilled. That is the trap of the senses. The senses are always late. They show you only what has already been accepted within. If you wait to see it outwardly before you assume it inwardly, you will wait forever. The order is always this: assumption first, appearance second. Creation is finished. All that ever was, or will be, already exists in the invisible. Your assumption selects which part of that infinite whole becomes visible in your world. So choose your end, and then dwell in it until it becomes the only reality you know. How does one dwell in the end? By feeling the naturalness of it, by saturating the mind with its tone, its atmosphere, its implications. Let me give you an example. Suppose you desire to be free from financial lack. Thinking of the end, you might see piles of money, or imagine checks arriving, but you still feel poor, hoping to be rich. Thinking from the end, you would feel as one who is already secure. You would walk lightly, breathe easily, think generously. Your conversations, your posture, your inner talk, all would spring from the consciousness of abundance. You would no longer ask, when will it come? For to one who has, there is no coming, only being. This is the secret. You must enter the state and wear it like a skin. And this is not done once, it is a dwelling. You return to it again and again until it becomes your new home. Like putting on new shoes, it may at first feel strange, but if you persist, it becomes comfortable. Then one day you forget the old shoes altogether, and you walk as one who has always been this. That forgetting is the sign that the state is fixed, and once fixed it will externalize without fail, for the outer world can only echo the inner state. Many will tell you to be realistic. I tell you to be faithful. Realism belongs to the past. Faith belongs to the unseen. Realism binds you to what has been. Faith frees you to create what shall be. If you cling to facts, you remain their servant. If you cling to faith, facts become your servant. So do not argue with appearances. Do not wrestle with circumstances. Leave them alone. They are shadows of yesterday's belief. Attend only to your state, for your state is the seed of tomorrow. Change the state and the shadows must change. When you assume a new state, the world may not recognize it at first. It may even oppose it. That does not matter. Your task is not to convince the world, but to convince yourself. When your conviction is complete, the world must comply, for it is only your conviction objectified. So walk in the end boldly, though the world call you deluded. They called Noah mad when he built the ark on dry land. They mocked the prophets when they spoke of unseen things. But the unseen became seen, and the laughter turned to wonder. So it shall be with you. Let me give you a simple practice. Tonight, as you lie down to sleep, ask yourself, if it were true now, what would I feel? And then feel it. Do not strain. Do not dramatize. Simply accept it as fact. Let the body grow still and sink into the feeling as into warm water. Drift off to sleep wearing that feeling, and you will carry it into the depths of the subconscious, where it will gestate unseen until the appointed hour. This is the truest form of prayer. It is not asking. It is receiving. It is the soul saying it is done, and resting in that doneness until it appears. And as you go about your days, carry the tone of the end. Suppose you have assumed the state of being deeply loved. Then walk as one who is loved. Speak kindly to yourself. Expect kindness from others. If someone frowns, do not be shaken, for you know who you are. If someone criticizes, do not defend, for you need no defense. Love does not argue. It simply is. This is how you hold the end, even while the outer world has yet to catch up. You do not demand signs. You embody the sign, and because the outer must conform to the inner, love will appear, not as something added to you, but as the mirror of what you have become. Be watchful of this. You cannot live in two states at once. You cannot assume wealth and cling to lack, assume health and nurse illness, assume success and confess failure. Choose this day whom you will serve, the old state or the new. If you waver, you delay. If you fix your gaze on the end, the old must dissolve. So let the old die. Stop reviving it with memory, with talk, with emotion. Turn your back on it and do not look again. Lot's wife looked back and was turned to salt, a pillar of the past. Do not look back. Look only from the end, and the past will wither like a dream. And above all, remember, this is not pretending. This is creating. Pretending hopes. Creating knows. Pretending says, maybe someday. Creating says, it is so now. Pretending looks at the world to decide what is real. Creating looks within. Pretending leaves the power outside you. Creating claims it within you. And the moment you claim it, the outer world must bow to your claim. The law is exact. As within, so without. So tonight, I call you to dare the impossible. Choose your highest desire and step into it inwardly as though it were already fulfilled. Let every thought, word, and feeling spring from that fulfillment. Live as though it were impossible to fail, and do not come down from that height. No matter what the senses report, remain there. Soon the world will rearrange itself to match your assumption, for it has no choice. The outer is powerless except to reflect the inner. This, my friends, is the art of living from the end. It is the key to effortless manifestation. It is the door to every answered prayer. Enter it, and you will cease striving. Enter it, and you will know rest. For the moment you live from the end, the work is done, and the world will simply outpicture what you have already accepted as true. So rise, take your place in the end, and walk as though it were finished, because it is. The subconscious servant, planting the seed of assumption. My friends, listen carefully tonight, for what I am about to tell you is the secret of all creation. You have heard me say that imagining creates reality, and that you must live from the end if you would see your desire made flesh. But here is the deeper truth behind it all. Your subconscious mind is the faithful servant of your assumptions. It does not question, it does not argue, it does not reason. It accepts as true whatever you impress upon it with feeling, and it brings it forth into the outer world. This is the law, and it works unfailingly whether you know it or not. So the question is never, will it work? The question is, what am I impressing upon it? For it will give you whatever seed you plant. Plant fear, and fear will grow. Plant doubt, and doubt will flower. Plant faith, and faith will bloom. Your outer world is nothing but the harvest of yesterday's inner planting. If you would change the fruit, you must change the seed. And the seed is your assumption, what you accept as true of yourself. Your conscious mind is the sower, and your subconscious is the soil. The soil does not choose the seed, it only receives. It makes no distinction between the seed of a thorn and the seed of a rose. It will grow both with equal care. So do not ask the soil to decide what you want. That is your task. Choose your seed wisely and plant it deliberately. This is the power given to you from the beginning. To choose this day whom you will serve, not the outer world, not circumstances, but the vision you hold within. And how do you plant this seed? Through feeling. Not mere words, not mechanical repetition, but feeling. The emotional acceptance of the idea as already real. The subconscious responds to feeling alone. It cannot resist it, for feeling is the language of the depths. You may say 1,000 times, I am wealthy, yet if you feel poor, the subconscious will ignore your words and bring you only more lack. But if for one quiet moment you feel the solid joy of security, the ease of abundance, the quiet gratitude of having enough and more than enough, then in that moment the seed is planted. And once planted, it must grow. You see, the subconscious is not creative in itself, it is reproductive. It does not originate, it obeys. It builds the form of your world out of the materials of your belief. It draws to you people, events, opportunities, all that is needed to fulfill what you have accepted as true. It works while you sleep. It works while you walk about your day. It never rests, and it never doubts. Only the conscious mind doubts. The subconscious simply executes. It is the silent power beneath the surface, moving mountains, rearranging the universe to make your assumption visible. This is why I tell you, do not fight with the outer. Plant the seed within and let the soil do its work. But beware this, the soil cannot be fooled. You may deceive your neighbor, but you cannot deceive your own heart. If you say, I am successful, yet secretly believe yourself a failure, the soil will bring forth failure, for that is the seed it has received. The subconscious takes the dominant feeling, not the fleeting wish. So you must dwell in your desired state until it becomes the dominant mood of your being. That mood is the true seed. That is why persistence is so vital. One moment of faith is a spark. Sustained faith is a fire. And only fire has the power to forge the unseen into the seen. Do not confuse effort with faith. Effort says, I must make this happen. Faith says it is done. Effort strains. Faith rests. Effort looks outward. Faith looks inward. When you are truly in the end, you cease striving. You no longer try to force the outer world to obey you, for you know it must. You simply nourish the seed within and trust the Lord to bring the harvest. You do not dig up the seed each day to see if it is growing. You leave it buried, confident that the soil is doing its part. So it is with the subconscious. Impress it once and then walk as though it were already so. This quiet assurance is the mark of one who understands the law. Now some will say, but I have tried and nothing happens. I tell you, nothing can resist an assumption held in feeling. If nothing has changed, it is only because you have not yet assumed. You have merely wished. Wishing is weak. It says, wouldn't it be nice if? But assumption says it is so. And that difference is everything. When you assume, you shift your identity. You no longer see your desire as something to get, but as something you are. And the subconscious responds to identity. It creates out of what you are, not what you want. So the question is not, how do I get this? The question is, who am I being? Be the one who already has it, and it will come without effort, for it must. Understand too that the subconscious has no sense of time. It does not know past or future. It knows only now. Whatever you impress upon it as true now, it accepts and brings forth. So stop saying I will be. Say I am. Stop saying it's coming. Say it is here. This is not self-deception. It is creation. The world says see it to believe it. The law says believe it to see it. So speak to the subconscious in the present tense of fulfillment, and it will answer you in kind. And because the subconscious governs the body, it will even reshape your physical form to match your assumption. If you believe yourself weak, your body will wither. If you believe yourself strong, your body will flourish. It will align every cell, every organ, every function to the pattern you impress upon it. This is why healing is possible through assumption. The body is not the cause, it is the effect. The cause is the belief planted in the subconscious. Change the belief, and the body must change. This power is not reserved for a few. It is given to all. Every man is sowing every moment. Though most do so unconsciously. They plant seeds of fear and then wonder why their lives are filled with trouble. They plant seeds of doubt and then cry out that their prayers go unanswered. It is not fate that governs them. It is their own inner sowing. But you, having heard this, are no longer bound to unconscious planting. You may sow deliberately. You may choose your harvest. This is the glory of being human, that you may choose what you will become. So tonight, choose your highest desire. And then, as you enter the drowsy state before sleep, plant it. Imagine a simple scene that would be true if your desire were fulfilled. It need not be grand. It need only imply the end. And as you see that scene in your mind, feel its reality. Feel the joy, the relief, the gratitude. Let that feeling saturate you, and then drift into sleep wearing it as your garment. In that moment, the seed is sown, and in due season it will come forth. You do not need to know how. The soil knows. Your task is only to plant and to persist. Remember, the subconscious is your servant, not your master. It waits upon your command. It stands ready to bring you heaven or hell, depending on what you give it. So give it only the noble, the lovely, the good. Speak to it as though you were already the person you wish to be, and it will make you so. This is the law, and it is sure. So I say to you now, dare to plant boldly, dare to assume the highest about yourself, dare to say I am, of the very thing your senses deny. Plant it, and let it be, and the day will come, as surely as the dawn, when you will stand in the midst of your harvest, and it will seem so natural, you will scarcely remember when it was only a seed, and then you will know the secret, that all along, the power was within you, waiting only for your command.
8. The silent power of feeling. My friends, tonight I want you to consider something that many overlook, though it stands as the hidden engine behind all manifestation: feeling. Thought alone will not move the mountain. Words alone will not open the door. It is the feeling behind the thought, the silent tone of your inner world, that clothes the invisible idea in flesh and makes it walk the earth. Feeling is the secret force, the living breath of creation, and until you learn to feel your wish fulfilled, you will stand at the gate and never enter in. Let me speak plainly. Every state you wish to occupy already exists. It is finished. But you cannot enter it by mere thinking about it as something separate. You must feel from it. Thinking of wealth while feeling poor keeps wealth at a distance. Thinking of health while feeling sick keeps health beyond your reach. But when you inwardly feel the satisfaction of being already the one you desire to be, the unseen world reshapes itself to reflect your new state. This is the law. Consider the words when you pray: believe that you have received and you shall receive. Notice it does not say believe you will receive. It says believe you have received. The shift is subtle but profound. One points to the future, the other anchors you in the present. One says someday while the other says now, and the door opens only to the one who stands at it now, not to the one who hopes to arrive tomorrow. I recall once walking the streets of this city with only a few coins in my pocket. Yet in imagination I walked as though I were already clothed in abundance. I touched the railings as though they were mine. I looked at the shop windows as though every treasure within was already given me. And though nothing outwardly had changed, inwardly I had crossed the bridge. I had entered the state. I had felt the feeling of wealth fulfilled. And from that day things began to move. Letters came. Opportunities opened. Within weeks what once seemed impossible became the simplest fact of my world. The outer always bends to the inner. So I say to you, do not try to will your desire into being by force of thought. Instead, slip quietly into the end and feel it real. Close your eyes and imagine, just for a moment, that you are already where you long to be. Let the world drop away and sense the atmosphere of your fulfilled desire. What would it feel like to be it now? What would your heart rest upon? How would you walk? How would you breathe? This feeling, soft, gentle, yet full, is the seed that will bloom without your effort. Nurture it and it will unfold in its perfect hour. Many will say, but I am trying so hard. And I tell you, trying is the confession that you have not yet assumed it. Effort belongs to the man who doubts. Ease belongs to the man who believes. When you truly assume the state, effort dissolves. You no longer try to make it happen. You rest knowing it is already done. Like the expectant mother who does not try to grow the child, she simply lives in the joyful knowing that life is forming within her. So must you live in the knowing that your desire is already conceived and its birth is sure. This is why feeling is so essential. Thought alone can be scattered and fleeting. You can think of many things in an hour, but feeling roots the idea, gives it weight, gives it reality. You can tell when you have felt it, for you rise from your chair changed. The outer scene may be the same, yet you are no longer the same, and the world will soon reflect the difference. Let me offer you a simple practice. Tonight before you sleep, choose one desire, not many, just one. Enter the silence of your mind. Then imagine a single scene that implies your desire is already fulfilled. It could be the warmth of a friend's embrace congratulating you, the look in their eyes as they say, I'm so happy for you. Hear their voice, feel their touch, see the light upon their face. And as you do, let the feeling of accomplishment rise within you. Do not strain, do not force. Simply relax into the scene as though it were true. Feel the relief, the gratitude, the quiet certainty that it is done. Then drift into sleep carrying that feeling with you. In that drowsy state, the boundary between imagination and reality dissolves, and what you impress there will harden into fact. Do not concern yourself with the how.
Leave the manner of its appearing to the unseen wisdom that shaped the stars. Your part is only to feel it real. The how will present itself in ways so natural, you will wonder if it would not have happened anyway. But you will know. You will remember the night you felt it real, and you will smile, for you will see that all creation is finished, and you simply entered the scene already prepared for you. Some will say, but I felt it once, and nothing happened. Then I ask, did you truly feel it, or did you merely think of it? Did you enter the state, or did you stand at the threshold peeking in? Feeling is not a fleeting wish, it is an inner acceptance. When you feel it real, even for a moment, something shifts. You can sense it. A quiet peace settles upon you. That is the sign. Do not demand instant results from the outer world. The seed must first take root in the unseen before it shows in the seen. Be patient, but not anxious. Be still, but not idle. Remain faithful to the feeling, and the fruit will appear. I tell you, everything you desire is already contained within you. You are not seeking to create it. You are only awakening to it. And the key that unlocks it is feeling. Feel the joy of it, and it will come. Feel the gratitude for it, and it will come. Feel the relief of having it, and it must come. The world has no choice but to mirror your inner assumption. So tonight, walk in the silence of your heart as though your desire were already fulfilled. Let your inner tone sing of its completion, and as you do, the world will echo your song. This is the law, as within, so without. Assume it is done, feel it done, and it will be done unto you. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. That is the power that has been entrusted to you. Use it, not tomorrow, now.
Faith in the unseen, the path of unshakable belief. My friends, tonight I want to take you to the heart of all miracles, to the very essence of creation itself. You have heard me speak of assumption, of living from the end, of the silent power of feeling. But there is one principle that binds all these together, one secret that the world cannot understand and the senses will never reveal. Faith in the unseen. Faith is not a wish, nor is it a hope that something may one day come to pass. Faith is the unshakable conviction that the unseen is already present. It is the inner knowing, the quiet authority of the soul that says, it is done, I have received, I am complete. And when you dwell in that knowing, the world is compelled to obey. For the outer world is but the mirror of your inner state. And if your inner state is faith, the outer world must bend and align itself accordingly. Consider this. When a man builds a house, does he first see the walls erected before laying the foundation? No. He begins with the plan, the vision in his mind of what will be. And though the walls do not yet exist, the builder works with the assurance that they will. So too must you act in the invisible. Build the house of your desire in your imagination. See it fully, live from it fully, and then rest in the knowing that the outer world will one day reflect what your inner world already contains. Many stumble here because they look to the senses for confirmation. They wait for signs, for evidence, for circumstances to align before they dare to believe. But the law is reversed. The unseen must be assumed first. The seen follows. Faith does not ask for proof. Faith does not negotiate with appearances. Faith commands, and the universe obeys. Have faith in God, said the Master. And God is nothing but the unseen within you, the life, the substance, the reality of all things. To have faith is to trust that the life within knows exactly how to manifest your desire. I recall the story of Abraham. He was promised a son, yet Sarah was barren and years passed. All appearances denied the promise. Yet Abraham believed in the unseen. He did not say, I hope it happens one day. He did not argue with reality. He accepted the unseen as present. And because he lived from that faith, the impossible was made flesh. You see, faith is not passive. It is not idle hoping. Faith is active assumption. Faith enters the unseen and dwells there until the outer reality is compelled to catch up. Do not misunderstand. This faith must be felt. It is not enough to repeat words or think thoughts. You must live the reality of your desire. You must saturate your being with the conviction that it is done. Let it pervade your mind, your body, your imagination. Let it color your thoughts, shape your words, and guide your actions. When you walk in this faith, the outer world is powerless to resist. It must conform to the state you occupy within. Many are troubled because they confuse faith with wishful thinking. But wishful thinking is weak. It hovers on the edge of doubt. Faith is steadfast. It roots itself in the invisible and refuses to be moved. To exercise this faith, you must detach from the how and the when. Stop asking the world for answers. Stop worrying about timing or method. The unseen life within you knows the perfect path, the perfect moment, the perfect circumstances. Your task is only to assume the end, feel it real, and dwell in that state with unwavering confidence. There will be resistance. The senses will speak. You cannot have this. Look at the world. Look at your circumstances. You have tried before and failed. Ignore these whispers. They are the echoes of old belief, the shadows of your past. Faith does not argue with appearances. It moves through them as though they do not exist. You may walk in a crowded street, surrounded by doubt and skepticism, yet within you, your faith shines as a quiet flame. That flame will not flicker. That flame will consume the shadows. Let me give you a practice, simple yet profound. Each morning before the day begins, close your eyes and assume the state of your desire fulfilled. See it clearly, hear it clearly, feel it as real. Then open your eyes and carry that state with you, regardless of the outer circumstances. Do not let the world pull you down. Do not let appearances dictate your inner reality. The moment you hold firm in the unseen, you have planted the seed of faith, and the law is exact, as within so without. What you believe in the unseen, you shall see in the seen. Faith is also the antidote to fear. Fear comes from looking at the outer world and believing it governs your life. Faith comes from looking within and knowing that the unseen governs the outer. The one who lives in faith does not react to circumstances. They act from a place of certainty. They know that no obstacle can stop the fulfillment of their desire because the unseen life within has already arranged all things. This is why the prophets could speak boldly, why the saints could heal, why the master could command the storms. They did not battle the outer, they dwelled in the unseen. And so I say to you, cultivate this faith. Nurture it as you would a precious seed. Visit it each day. Strengthen it with feeling. Guard it from doubt. When it seems that all is lost, when the world shouts impossibility, return to the unseen. See your desire fulfilled. Feel the joy of accomplishment. Rest in the knowing that it is done. And watch, for the outer world will obey. Faith is the bridge between imagination and reality. It is the key that unlocks the door to all miracles. Without it, no effort, no technique, no method can succeed. With it, the impossible becomes inevitable. So dare to believe, even when the senses contradict. Dare to live as though the unseen is already seen. Dare to rest in the quiet certainty that your desire is fulfilled, and the universe will conspire to make it so. Tonight, I charge you to take your place in faith. Do not waver, do not doubt. Enter the unseen, assume your desire, and let it fill you with the quiet certainty of fulfillment. Stand firm, walk boldly, and know that what you believe in your heart is already the law of your outer world. The unseen is powerful, unchanging, and absolute. Trust it, live from it, and you will witness miracles unfold before your eyes, for the world cannot resist the conviction of faith. Faith, my friends, is the crown jewel of creation. It is the power that moves the unseen into being. It is the law by which all things come to pass. And when you dwell in it, when you allow it to fill every corner of your consciousness, you will know that nothing is impossible, nothing is delayed, and nothing can prevent the fulfillment of what you have assumed. This is your charge. Believe in the unseen. Rest in the end. Let faith reign.
10. The mastery of assumption. Walking in the reality you desire. My friends, tonight we arrive at the summit of all understanding. All that I have shared with you, the power of imagination, the law of reversal, the secret place, living from the end, planting the seed in the subconscious, and faith in the unseen culminates here. The final step, the secret that has been hidden in plain sight, is the mastery of assumption. To assume is not merely to wish, to hope, or even to believe. To assume is to take your place as the reality you desire, to live and breathe it inwardly, until your outer world must conform. This is the pinnacle of effortless manifestation. Listen carefully, for the difference between mere wishing and true assumption is everything. Wishing is passive. Wishing says, I hope it comes. Belief is stronger, yet it often still looks outward, still doubts appearances. Assumption is active. Assumption declares, it is done. I am already this. The world must reflect what I am within. It is not an idle thought. It is a living, breathing state of being. And nothing in the universe can resist a state of being fully assumed and fully felt. To master assumption, you must begin with a desire and carry it into the inner chamber of your imagination. Close the door of the outer senses and enter the secret place where only your consciousness rules. See the scene that implies the fulfillment of your desire. Hear the voices, feel the textures, sense the joy, and allow every detail to confirm your assumption. You are not pretending, you are creating. For creation always begins in consciousness. The outer world is but the echo of what you have impressed within. And hear me, your work is not to struggle, to push, to manipulate circumstances. Your work is to persist in assumption until it hardens into fact. Persist in feeling the end. Persist in dwelling in its reality. Persist in the quiet assurance that it is done, even when appearances say otherwise. Do not be moved by the outer world. Be fixed in your inner state. Like the sun rising behind the clouds, your inner assumption cannot be prevented from shining forth. The clouds may linger, but they cannot stop the light. Let us speak of persistence, for this is where many fail. One moment of imagining is not enough. One act of prayer is not enough. The seed must be planted, watered by feeling, nourished by faith, and left in the fertile soil of the subconscious until it grows unseen. Too often men dig up the seed each day, examining whether it is sprouting. They grow impatient, anxious, and doubtful. Do not do this. Trust the law. Trust your inner work. Let the seed develop in the silence. The outer world is powerless to hinder it. To assume the end is also to live in a state of inner joy and gratitude. Many approach desire with tension, as though striving and desperation will force results. But tension contradicts assumption. Doubt contaminates the seed. Joy and gratitude are the sunlight and rain. Feel them as natural responses to the end. Give thanks as though you have already received. Rejoice as though you are already fulfilled. When your inner state is harmonious with the desired reality, the subconscious will work unimpeded to bring it forth. Now consider identity. For mastery of assumption demands a change of self. You are not merely asking for something external. You are becoming the one who naturally possesses it. To assume wealth, you must be the person who has it. To assume health, you must be the person who is well. To assume love, you must be the person who is lovable. The outer circumstances will always conform to the inner self. If you desire change in the world, begin by changing yourself inwardly, through assumption. This is the secret that prophets understood, that saints have practiced, that masters have lived. You cannot command the world without first commanding your own consciousness. Some will ask, but appearances deny it. My life seems unchanged. How can I assume what is not yet? This is the very test of mastery. Do not be swayed by the outer world. The senses are always late. They show the effect of belief after it has taken root, often long after the seed has been planted. You must live from the end without regard to appearances. You must walk in the reality of the fulfilled desire, as though the outer world is merely reflecting what you already know inwardly. This is not denial. This is faith. This is the law in operation. To master assumption, you must also release attachment to how it will appear. Many become entangled in the method, the path, the timing. This is a trap. The unseen knows the perfect arrangement. You do not need to design it. You do not need to plan it. Your role is to maintain the state, to persist in feeling, to dwell in the reality you have assumed. The outer world, compelled by your inner assumption, will deliver the manifestation through channels you cannot predict. Trust in the wisdom of the unseen. Let go of the burden of control and allow creation to unfold. Remember, mastery of assumption is a way of being, not a series of actions. It is the quiet, unwavering certainty that your desire is fulfilled. It is the inner conviction that moves mountains and commands the universe. You do not argue with obstacles. You do not negotiate with circumstances. You hold the end. You dwell in it. You feel it real, and you let the law do its work. The world becomes your mirror. Everything you see is a reflection of what you have assumed within. And let me speak plainly. This power is given to every human being. No one is excluded. Every man and woman has the faculty of imagination, the ability to feel, the capacity for faith. The only difference between those who succeed and those who fail is their willingness to assume. Those who persist, who live from the end, who remain faithful to the unseen, achieve effortlessly. Those who hesitate, who doubt, who cling to appearances, remain trapped in lack. There is no exception, for the law is exact, as within so without. So my friends, take this teaching to heart. Choose your desire, enter the inner chamber, close the door on appearances, assume the state, feel it fully, persist, live as the reality you long to see. Let faith, feeling, and imagination govern your consciousness. Let your inner world command the outer. Do not look back. Do not question. Do not despair. Your assumption is the law in action, and nothing can resist it. In the mastery of assumption, you become a creator, a master, a divine architect of your own world. You will walk through life with confidence, serenity, and joy. You will see the impossible made possible, the unseen made visible, the desire of your heart fulfilled beyond measure. This is the promise, the law, the gift that has always been yours. And now, my friends, as you leave this place tonight, carry it with you. Walk in the end. Assume it. Feel it real. Persist. Release attachment to the how and the when. Trust the unseen. Trust the law. Trust yourself. For the moment you fully assume, the world bows, the universe arranges itself, and the impossible becomes inevitable. You are the master of your own reality. You are the architect of the unseen made seen. You are the living proof that assumption creates all things. This is your final lesson, your greatest gift, your sure path to effortless manifestation. Go forth, live from the end, and know that it is done. It is finished. You have received. The world is now compelled to reflect what you already hold within. Walk boldly, live faithfully, and let nothing stop the unfolding of your fulfilled desire.